it, Julia. Click it now.
I'm trying, but it's gone away. It's like
Click the
disappeared.
thing.
It's disappeared, which is my own silly fault, really.
Come on, baby. Click the thingy. I'm glad that triggered some kind of response because I can't hold a tune if my life depended on it.
Aha! We are away. Okay, give me a second. Three, two, one. It's clicked.
You clicked the thing. Are we
I
live?
clicked the thing we
Hello,
should
everyone.
live in Facebook now. Yay! Hello,
Wow.
everybody.
Let's see if we can see it.
Uh,
Me.
yeah,
Hello, everyone.
we
Please,
are
anybody's there?
there. Is there anybody there? Give us a sign.
There.
Woo!
Give us a sign. A sign.
I know, it's like doing a stupid seance, isn't it? Who do we think? Who do we think we are? Hey?
Yep, I got notified.
We've got some
We are here. We are here.
people.
Kerstin, hello. Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year! Yes, brilliant. Teresa, hi again. Nice to see you again. Oh,
Yeah,
super.
it's good to be back. Happy New Year, everybody.
It is lovely to be back.
Did you all get a good break?
Hey,
Right?
Sue, what time is it? Oh, why do we always ask what time it is there? My former mother-in-law used to do that every time because you're in Australia. So, hang
Hey,
on,
LG. Hi, Ellison. Good to see you guys. Well, sort of see you.
not see. We've got
But see that you are
11.
here. It's really, really
Yes.
good.
Up in the morning, is
Chili
it?
Shropshire. Mmm.
Yes, you'd be with
Mmm.
us. Yeah, 1:30.
1:30 a.m. Oh my goodness. Sue, that's the middle of the night.
I know. Madness. We're right. We better make this good just for Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of you.
Pressure's on now.
LJ, lovely to see you as always.
Yeah. I'm
Not that
getting
we
hot
take you for
now.
granted. You'll totally
I was
understand.
pretending to be in winter with my hoodie on, but I'm getting hot now. Because it's summer here.
Oh, shush.
Well, Sue knows what I'm talking about. Um, so did you guys get a good break? Can you please post us, just share a banana if you had a, no, hang on a minute. I don't like bananas.
Do you not?
Pineapples for a brilliant break, bananas for like meh, maybe not so great a break. And I want to see lots of pineapples now. Okay, I think I go first. I go first. I had a, oh,
I'm waiting, Barbara. I'm waiting to
oh,
see
I
how
know you're
good.
waiting. I can't find my
Alison had a
thing.
great break.
Excellent. Like it.
Kirsten had a great break. Yes.
Good. Good.
Everyone else is going, right, hang on, we've forgotten we need to actually get these fruit emojis.
Fruit.
Yeah. Happy New
What
Year to
movie
you too,
was this?
Katrina.
Hey, Katrina. Great, you made it. Yeah. I loved your post.
Barbara, now who's she, that Barbara Patterson woman? Anyway, she had a really nice break. She's
Oh,
trouble.
the pineapple is if you had a good break. If you had not such a good break, then it's a banana. And because I really don't like bananas, I had
Oh, freezing. 15 degrees Fahrenheit there, below zero.
Brr,
Oh my
algae.
goodness
Oh,
me.
bundle up.
I feel
Great.
quite
All
warm
good
now.
pineapples. Teresa had a good break. Yay. Katrina had one. Excellent. We're all refreshed then.
Well,
Fab.
sort of. I had a
Fab.
lovely break, but I don't feel refreshed. I feel tired.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. I hear you. Me too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just getting older or.
Sue's whole life is a pineapple. She's retired. Yay to
Oh,
retirement.
so yeah, still a few years to go yet.
Bloody time.
Although, to be fair, with our jobs, it's like brilliant, really, isn't it? We are truly living the dream. We do have the best jobs in the world.
That is true. That is totally true.
She does
Totally.
the same. Not
Yeah.
jealous. Never jealous. I'm jealous. Yeah, I still am jealous. But anyway, right. So
Oh yeah, let's dive into it.
if you have looked on Facebook on Tuesday or you read their newsletter, then you'll know that we're going to do a little bit on getting to know your dog. So it's kind of like a little personality profile. I don't know if any of you have ever done one of those personality tests, when you got interviewed for a job or something, and you find out you're an ENTP or whatever else you might be. I think that's probably what I am. And this is the same for your dog, and it's just fine, really looking at your dog for who they are. And we're going to have a look at four, I think, or maybe three different sort of personality axes, really, to see where our dogs fit. So we did the first one on Tuesday. Loads of you answered that about whether your dog is more bold or more cautious. And then next Tuesday there'll be another one, and etc. etc. So you can really get to know your dog. But one of the reasons for doing it is so you can see the dog for who they are, and the fact that they're not, what they do isn't bad. It's just them being them.
Hold.
Holding.
I want to know. I want to do a quick poll, yeah? Okay, because I want to find out who's excited about doing this testing and finding out a bit more about their dog's personality. Who's excited about it? Please, can I get some strawberries if you're excited? And if not, then just give us a lemon. But strawberries if you're excited to find out more about your dog's personality.
If you
I
do
love
need to
personalities tests, hey? You know
we
those free things that you can do online, like find out if you're this or find out if you're that. Oh, I'm a sucker for those.
It just makes you think, doesn't it? It just makes you stop and think, go, oh, hang on just a second.
Oh, here are the strawberries. Kirsten,
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Teresa,
Thank
Sue,
goodness for
Allison.
that. That would have been
Yay.
bad if we
Goody, goody,
hadn't.
goody, goody,
I was
goody.
just going to say, if you want to put a lemon, if you can make it really small, so it doesn't make me sad, just tiny, like on those miniature
Oh,
lemons.
funny, oh, funny.
Would be
Okay,
good.
cool. Sorry, I interrupted you, Julia. You
That's
go ahead.
okay. But that was that's
Hmm.
what the live is about, really, is the fact that, our dogs are super cool. They're lovely. Um, and we hear it so often, especially when you're owner of a reactive dog, when you get the look or whatever, and it's like, oh gosh, you haven't someone might say, my dog's really good. They get on with everybody's other dog. And then when yours doesn't, you're thinking, does that mean my dog is bad? And actually, regardless of what the behavioral struggle is, it's just your dog being a dog. And there are many, many reasons. Yeah, LJ, seeing Bodhi for who he is and meeting him there. Exactly. Exactly that. So, okay.
Katrina says strawberry, but she's changing. Well, hopefully for the better, eh? With all the work that you've been doing in there.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
think also, how long's Freya been with you now, Katrina? Because something about rescues is also sometimes it takes, I mean, first of all, we all change, right?
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
Buddhists, right? Everything, our whole life is a flow. Nothing ever stays the same. But so the dogs too, just like us. But there's also always kind of like an essence that stays true. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that call.
yeah, something that really makes us us.
Mm.
And so also with our dogs. Anyway, and then since 2021, well, that's a while, 4 years. Um, yeah. But
But it's like you say,
sometimes
it's that ingrained, especially, if you've got a dog with a past that's a little bit more difficult. It's like with people, it takes a long time. And sometimes there are bits that'll always be that from that past,
yeah,
you know?
totally. I
So
mean,
I've got a question.
okay.
Have you one of the questions that I put earlier the week, I think, I'm trying to remember what day it is and what I've done. Anyway, we talked about,
Hello.
was it, but might have been before Christmas, where what was your dog to, I know, it all merges into one, doesn't it? I asked about what was your dog bred to do? So looking at your dog's breed, whether you know their breed or not, what you think their breed might be. And I can give you actually a tool to do that, which I'll have to find, but I can show you if you've got a crossbreed. So we know
Hey,
that, say,
Sally!
a
Welcome back. Sorry.
a border collie, for example, is bred to, herd sheep, keep them together, move them from A to B, all that kind of stuff. So we know that that's what that sort of dog's been bred to do. We know that a poodle has been bred to hunt ducks on the water, that kind of thing. So, have you ever seen your dog do something that you think has just been tied to their instincts, so the things that they've been bred to do? So, what was it? Can you share in the comments if you've ever seen your dog do something that they've been bred to do? And while you're doing that, I'm going to have a look for this cool tool. Sally, welcome back. It's lovely that you've come back. Oh, super duper.
Hmm. Katrina
Just
says,
adding.
Freya, the local trainer says Freya is still in puppyhood and she's nearly 5. I remember that from Emma. Was she spayed early, Katrina?
Oh,
Just
good
curious.
question. So if, like me, you have a mixed breed dog that's a bit of everything, Kim Brophy, who was obviously one of our speakers, did this little personality test online called the Dog Key. So I've just bobbed that into the comments. So you
Hmm.
could find out a little bit more. Both of my dogs came back as world dogs, which just means they're just, manky old street dogs. But it's really interesting and it's really, it's even if you've got a particular breed, if you do it, you'll see actually it's quite accurate. That's the feedback that I've seen so far. So what are we being told? Many, many things. Um, so Alison, guarding. What breed of dog have you got, Alison? So alert barking. There's quite a few types of dogs that do that kind of thing. But you like you say, your guardian breed types definitely are those. So Kirsten has a pit bull husky mix with some Boston Terrier. So he's a protector and a herdie. And the husky has a high prey drive, and that's what he does, chasing all kinds of critters. The other thing that you see a lot with huskies is just that they run, and when they start running, they just carry on, and it's just like go, because we've bred them to pull sleds. That's the word I'm looking for. So they just run and run and go and go and go. So sometimes we can struggle with recall and that kind of thing with a husky. Who else have we got? Sally, Dalmatian and an Aussie, guard dog and herding dog. Dalmatian is reactive, especially at window, fence and leash. Yeah, absolutely. And actually that fence running makes sense because Dalmatians were carriage dogs, weren't they? They used to run alongside carriages to kind of be that sort of guard for the people in the carriages. That kind of makes a whole heap of sense. And the Aussie doesn't do much nipping, thankfully. Yes. It's the ankle nipping like you get with your corgis and things like that. Excellent. It's really interesting, isn't it? Oh, brilliant. Oh, Remy, you've got a Finnish lap hunt. Now they're herding and have a high drive. High drive, no reindeer in Australia. I mean, they're also quite they are quite barky, aren't they, as well? Because they needed to alert. I can't quite remember. I did look into some lap hunts, but they can be quite barky because they needed to alert their handlers of stuff. So that can be another little characteristic. Sometimes, when you have to like dig back in your brain, I'm sure I know something about that breed. Um, yes, Kirsten, which said we walk and walk and walk till they drop dead. Yeah, he's barky. Yeah. So Andrea's Alsatian would never leave a close ranges. Yeah, because his job is to look after you. Whereas the elk hound is always heading for Norway, even though you live in Canada. Oh, so funny. Oh, brilliant. These are so interesting, aren't they, Barbara? All these
Mm.
comments about the different breeds. I just find it fascinating. And we're surprised, aren't we? You get a terrier and they dig holes in the garden. Well, of course they do. That's their job. Or a dachshund barks, digs holes in the garden. That's their job. Oh dear, they're such cool animals. Okie dokie. So, do you think that some of your dog's behavior is misunderstood by other people? So, could you give us grapes for a yes and watermelon for no? You think people get it? Yeah. No, you think yours are cool, Shawnee, which is great. Yeah,
Not
they
the
are, and we
big.
kind of have that we kind of have that sort of identikit, all our dogs are the same. So if you've got a dog, for example, that barks a lot in the house when things go past, and we think, oh, that's a pain in the backside because it's not nice for the neighbor. Actually, that dog, what is that dog is doing? It's not bad behavior, it's just behavior. And like a lot of the other behaviors we're talking about, it's a behavior that we have bred for these dogs to have. With some dogs, like mine, for example, who have been generations free roaming street dogs, their behaviors are a little bit more random but they're still coming from dogs that we as human beings over the last 40,000 years or whatever have bred them to do. Because one of the reasons that dogs became domesticated is because they were great for helping protect people. In return, people could provide food for them, and that's how that sort of domestication process started to happen. So we shouldn't really be surprised that our dogs will alert bark or that our dogs might be reactive and lunge and bark at things that they don't know about and they don't understand. It's all
So
totally natural.
here's a little anecdote. So we don't have people over a lot, and friends came who are dog loving friends. So, they always travel with their dogs, and they came to visit. Um, they don't live in the same city. Anyway, our dogs were like wild, so excited, maybe because we were excited to see them. Um, bouncing, jumping, like lots of barking. I mean, I haven't seen them like this in an age. And the puppy was loose, so it was kind of completely crazy. And then you try to, manage the situation a bit, and then there was even more barking because now you've got frustration, da. And I mean, I was thinking, darn, I really have to do something about this. This is not, you know. And anyway, I mean, I told him it takes like a few minutes and then everything will be okay, which it was. You just have to get through those intense first 5-10 minutes. But this is something that where I find a lot of people just don't really understand herders and border collies. They don't expect them to behave like that because they have a reputation, for being dogs will all be very well behaved. But and they get lots of exercise, so that's not it. But the thing with, especially, I mean, border collies and probably other herders too, is that they really react to anything that's out of the ordinary,
Mm.
things that stand out. So, and I was surprised that they really struggled to settle when these guys came, and they were popping in. So they had just come from a long drive. They were on their way to Swakop, and they just popped in for a bit so we could say hello and make a plan to see each other, during the holidays. So when people come and everybody just stands around, the guys are chatting, me and my friend are
Mm.
chatting. So nobody sat down.
Yeah, that
And
really hard for
normally,
dogs, isn't it?
and my dogs are not used to that. Like people come and then they get on with stuff, or we sit down, or, so everybody, and there was this sort of air of, are we just popping in, but then we've got to go. And I think that they really reacted a lot to that. And then just the fact that nobody really sat down, but it was just all the standing around, not really, you know, nobody settled. So also the dogs couldn't settle. Anyway, I was just reminded of this when you asked these
But from
questions.
their point of view, being border collies, they've got people that have come to their house and they're not in the place that they're supposed to be,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really hard. And they're border collies, so there's something unusual. They are going to fixate on it
And
and
then
not be able to bring themselves
exactly. Yeah,
away.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then arousal goes up, and then they want to get closer to the people, and then there is the jumping, and they want to check it out because my lot, they're all not timid guys, right? So, and then the people, like don't give them enough attention, or so they feel, because then I want to really get, behind this, what's going on here. So then, so then there was quite a bit of chaos for the moment. But from the dog's perspective, it was just like really stressful. And exactly, Shawnee says, that
Yeah,
was my two pups feed off each other, and that was, of course, also
totally.
going on, with the feed.
Totally.
Totally. High energy, our energy, the people excited, our energy, and then also the dog's energy. So yeah, so I've got to have a look at, it's not that my dogs don't listen or anything. It's just that they can't, I send them to their beds and they will go to their beds. They just can't hold it. They just can't hold it because the excitement and arousal is like here,
Mm.
right? So I have to um, work on some stuff.
There's always more stuff to work on, isn't there?
Always, always,
Always more
always.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, do your dogs have any behaviors that you see that either you don't really understand why they're doing it, or you think other people might not understand why they're doing it, that get misunderstood? So, I've given a few examples, but I'm not thinking anything mind-blowingly exciting, but just things like, they don't come back.
Humping.
Yeah, just
I mean, it might not be a breed specific thing, but humping is definitely one that lots of people misunderstand, right?
yes. Talk about that. Should we, while people are thinking, should we talk about humping? Do you want to talk about humping?
Oh, it was just up there. Well, again, it's like it's arousal and excitement and displacement, right? It's
Exactly.
not,
It's not, and if you,
not
just to get sort of slightly graphic, if you watch that kind of humping that you see from a dog, that's the displacement behavior, and compare it to a sexual humping and
mating
actual
behavior. Yeah.
mating, it looks very, very different. It's got
Yeah.
nothing really that's why girlies do it as well,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Very,
super interesting, I think.
very different. Okay. Nothing. No, but nobody has
Nobody
misunderstood.
has any
Okay,
unusual
cool.
behaviors from,
All right. That's
you
fine.
know, one behavior that um Hassie's does, and I think it's just an appeasement thing actually, but it's something I've never quite pinpointed why she does it. But it's ever so cute. So what she will do sometimes when she's quite chill, she's quite relaxed, she's having a stroke and she sees one of her people and she puts her paws over her nose and like does that. And it's so cute. I need to put it on cue actually because it's really cute.
Yeah, that
I've
is sweet.
always wondered there's got to be a reason. Why is she doing that? And I think, as I say, it must be an appeasement.
Yeah, yeah. One way of finding out or getting closer to finding out is take notes on the situation, right?
Yeah. And as I say,
Season, context. Mm,
it's usually kind of a G-shocks kind of situation. So, when she's a bit snoozy and someone pops in.
we have some interesting comments.
Excellent.
Yeah, Shawnee. Okay, Shawnee said she noticed the same over the holidays. I think that's the excitement with the visitors and stuff.
Yeah.
So back to basics, more hot zone and it's your choice. Yep, absolutely. And then LG. In fact, talking about more it's your choice and hot zone, Susan Garrett did a follow-up podcast on she did a really great one on counter surfing,
Yeah.
and she did a follow-up one, three-step plan, so for certain problem behaviors. And the example she uses is counter surfing and reactivity, and the sort of overreaction to visitors is, I mean, it just fits 100%. So it's a really cool one. I'm going to look up the link just now and share it. But I really like, because I really like the acronyms that she uses was MRI. Manage, whatever behavior that you don't like or that is not cool in that moment. Manage, redirect, and intensify the one that you want to see.
Mm.
And it's your choice, and hot zone can, be the ones that you really want to intensify in lots of scenarios like that, which is why in all our classrooms we teach both hot zone and it's your choice as
Absolutely.
foundation behaviors, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Kirsten says, my dog is a hamper and I need to be aware when we train that I keep him under threshold. And
Yes.
it's lovely, Kirsten, to have behaviors like that that are clear indications and yet they're harmless, right?
Yeah.
Dog starts humping, okay, well, we can laugh it off and just say, oh, okay, we need to use a bit more food or maybe do something quiet, like a round of it's your choice, and or just rewarding some quiet chill zone. I always think, here's another one. Sort of, I'm waffling now. No, I'm not waffling. I kind of like to use chill zone as the name for hot zone and hot zone for the different context. Because sometimes we want it to be a calm behavior where the dog just feels, okay, well, I'll just hang out here until you're ready, and really dozes off. And sometimes, and that's like the chill zone, right? Where we reward by putting cookies on their place. We look for indications of relaxation and we reward the choice to stay on. And then we have the sort of hot zone where we park the dog ready, steady, go, right? Where we want them at the, really ready to hop off, like when they're taking turns, when my dogs take turns training. Although
Yeah.
when I really think about it, I would want them to be a bit more chilled with that too. Anyway, I digressed. A really interesting one here was LG's. She says Bodhi gets very wiggly sometimes, and then it's displacement or appeasement rather than happy, excited. And people
Yes.
don't get that. And yet,
Yes.
Goldens are really famous for that, right? The wriggly appeasement stuff, because when they feel uncomfortable, the behaviors that are a bit higher up on the aggression ladder, they've been selected out quite intentionally, I think, in Goldens. So they don't necessarily have that repertoire to express when they really feel uncomfortable. So that intensifies the appeasement or the like playing the fool kind of behaviors.
Exactly. And that's a really important one
Mm,
um to know about, really, isn't it?
yeah. Interesting one from Shawnee here. My Aussie will wag his tail, so I thought he was happy, but I've noticed he's not happy, he's scared. Remember during the body language challenge, talking about the different tail observations, and yeah, totally. So true, Shawnee. It's really, really, really great that you know, read these nuances.
Yeah, they're so crucial. It's kind of the bit that makes the difference between really understanding your dog
Mm,
and just kind of pootling along with them, really.
yeah.
Mm.
And Katrina
Debbie,
says them.
oh,
Hmm?
sorry, you carry on.
Similar to LG, Freya will do similar. People think she wants to say hello, but she's actually fawning. It took us a while to understand it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the jumping that I get with Noah, really excited, jump, 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 which you can't really ignore because he gets quite intense, but that's part of that. It's just the arousal and the stress. Yeah. And it is really hard to understand. No, well, let's put it that way. Now that we know, it's not, hey, Katrina, but because you don't find it described so much.
Exactly. Exactly. So Debbie's dog barks at people. It's not aggressive, but it's a very big dog and it scares people. And I think that's right. It is hard. Some of these behaviors, especially reactive behaviors, feel more difficult with a big dog, because they are scarier to other people. So you're very much more aware of it. So even if it's just it's communication, the barking of our dogs is some sort of communication, and sometimes it's a space increasing behavior, as we've spoken about before, on the body language challenge. But it's just their way of saying, actually, just back off a little bit.
Shuni says it was a good one for sure. I need to re-listen. I'm hoping it's the body language one, but maybe it's the podcast on the hot zone. Either one, good ones to re-listen to.
Yeah.
Lisa says, I love Susan Garrett. Yes, Susan changed my life.
Yeah.
Totally, right? Andrea says, Alsatian would bark to stop and keep a person in position until we will come check things out, whereas our Labrador barks to draw people into their space to play together. People can misunderstand the Labrador's bark, but usually understand an Alsatian's bark.
And people just they do assume, don't they, with a guardian type dog like your German Shepherdy types, they kind of just assume that actually this dog is guarding and might bite my legs off, possibly because they tend to be used by the police and that kind of thing. Whereas Labradors have got that reputation of just all being, super cuddly love bugs, which, because they're used as assistance dogs. So there's that kind of assumption as well that we have, isn't there? Which is, there's something to be said for that. There's reasons why those dogs are used for those jobs. But it's not always the case because the individual dog and their individual differences are massively important as well. Yep.
Teresa says charm rolls over on her back when another dog's hackles are up. Especially interesting with her history of being more assertive, aggressive in this type of situation.
Okay. I mean, it it's difficult to know exactly what's going on. What I would say is she's worried when the other dog's hackles are up, so she does an appeasement gesture, um, rolling on her back, um, unless and when then she's done something that looks more aggressive, she's decided actually that appeasement's not going to work or it hasn't worked already, so I need to create space with this dog who's scaring me because the hackles are up. Because Charm is tiny as well, isn't she? So most dogs are going to be quite scary for her.
Also, I mean, if it's household dogs, then hackles up can also mean different things.
Yeah.
Right. And then when she's more assertive, as in going forward and barking, is, very often that's also fear-based.
Yeah.
Right. So dogs are more complex than people often think, right? Like, oh, he's submissive, right? They're rolling over on the back, submissive dog. And it's not that straightforward, because there is no essentialism here, they just behave in certain ways, and they might also be able to read individual dogs, right? So with this dog, okay, I'll roll over and invite that dog to come over and play, maybe, right? Or do something more gentle. And with that dog, I'm scared of that dog, so I need to chase them away
Yeah.
or provoke them so they show their true colors and we can have it out.
Then you know.
I know this is hectically interpreted and what is the word, anthropomorphized, but
Yes.
in the end, that's what happens, right? When dogs bark and uh, shouldn't do aggress at a dog, in most cases it is because they feel threatened and scared or fearful. Yeah.
Mm. So LJ's put, here's a behaviour that people often misread in Bodhi. When he gets over aroused in play and needs a break, he'll take himself off to a distance for a bit to decompress. They think he wants the other dogs to chase him. Good old Bodhi. Yeah.
And really interesting also that the dogs understand what he's saying and give him space.
Yeah.
Because it looks different, right? The body language is different when a dog says, come chase me, right? They go in, dash in, dash out, like behaving like prey, right?
Mm.
But when they just run off to be on their own for a bit, it's different. Awesome. Love this. Love this.
Really cool, isn't it? One of my biggest bugbears, actually,
Ah,
when you were talking about the anthropomorphic stuff that we do with our dogs. And actually, I think that anthropomorphism is a double-edged sword. Is that the right thing? I don't know.
yeah.
I think there were some reasons why it's really good because it means we treat our dogs more kindly. If we start thinking, because we need to think of them as sentient beings that understand the world. So that can be really good. However, they're still not people and they don't respond in the same way to a lot of things. I mean, some things they do, but the biggest bugbear I have is, when you speak to somebody and they, shout at their dogs, tell them no, tell them off, blah, blah, blah. And you say, it's pointless doing that, don't do that. It's just going to make things worse. But how will they know that they've done something wrong unless I tell them? That is my biggest bugbear because the answer to that question is that it doesn't matter what you do at that point. They will never know that they've done something wrong because from their perspective, they haven't.
Exactly.
All
There is
they
no
will
such
know
thing
is
as
that they're
wrong.
scared of you if you shout at them. So, dogs are very, very simple from that perspective. Um, either something they will do things because they get a good outcome and they will avoid things because they get a scary outcome. However, if we provide that scary outcome, we get become linked to it and they'll start trying to avoid or that bond between us will break. So yeah. Dogs don't have a moral compass at all, ever.
Exactly. I'm trying to see if I can, I don't know if this is going to work.
What you doing?
I'm trying to see if I can get my phone to, yeah, I want to show you something.
Go on.
Yeah, something that makes me, just when I had to stalk to the light switch.
Yeah, you're on your phone now.
I'm on my phone now, exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to show you,
I don't know how you do that.
I want to
Oh,
show you,
hello.
right, can you see the
I can
YouTube one?
see a tail and I can see, is that a Noah there?
Yeah.
And is that a Stevie under your chair?
No, it's the Falky.
Falky. Sorry, Falcon. Couldn't
Lying
recognize
side by side. There, can you
properly.
see
I
them properly?
know.
How awesome is this? Maybe if I make this big, I could actually direct the camera properly.
There we go.
Hang on, you can't actually see the one's head. Hang on, hang on.
It's no wonder I didn't know who it was. But that is so cool. So those of you that have been with us for a while will know that these two dogs have had issues with each other. It's been a bit of a journey for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Getting to this stage. But it just goes to show. Look how cool they are now. I can just see your chin.
I know. I'm just switching back to the other thing. Oh, yeah.
Have you gone? Have I lost you? Oh, she's back. She's back. She's back. She's back.
I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah, Teresa said it's not straightforward. It's not straightforward. It really isn't. And you're not the only one learning. Barbara and I are learning all the time as well. Little Miss, she's so naughty. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all learning.
You're naughty, you're not naughty. You don't even know what the word means.
So Kelby will be 11 years long, Shawnee
Naughty.
says. So notice some behaviour changes. Absolutely. More noise sensitive, 100%. What else? The article that's written this week really hit home for me because it talks about cognitive decline and osteoarthritis. So alive
Mm.
about cognitive decline and osteoarthritis. It's interesting actually. We've got there's a conference coming up that I should be going to some of it, not all of it, because it's 14 hours a day for 3 days. There's absolutely over Zoom. There's absolutely no way I could do that. But it's all about pain in dogs, chronic pain. So osteoarthritis will be a big part of that.
But in one of our masterminds, you talked a bit about you shared some stuff on noise sensitivity
Yeah.
in older dogs. So
Yes,
that could be
indeedy.
something maybe we could.
Indeedy. I can put some stuff in there. And also there's all sorts of interesting things. The thing with osteoarthritis, if you've got a dog with it, is that it's not something that's stable. They have flare-ups. So actually, what we end up doing with our dogs sometimes is over medicating because we medicate for when they're at the top of the flare up, whereas most of the time they're much lower than that. And then that can then have an impact. It's really quite interesting. The other thing that we know, which I think is really crucial for everybody, is how common osteoarthritis is in younger dogs. It's not, we always used to think it was an old dog's disease, and it really isn't. If you've got a dog that's 3, it could still be osteoarthritis quite easily. So just something to be aware of. It's one of the things I found out in the conference I went to back in November. Was really interesting. But yeah. What else? Who else have we got? And cognitive decline. As you know, I've got this going on with hats at the moment, and it almost takes you back to puppy and adolescence. When you've got an older dog in cognitive decline, you end up with some of the same issues. Really interesting. So Louise is here. I went to see Louise and her dog Bella yesterday. Had lots of lovely snuggles with lovely Bella. Enjoy and appreciate your dog. Absolutely. And I appreciate your dog as well, Louise, because she's beautiful.
Lisa
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
yeah, so you go.
Lisa said her guy is 11 years. Sometimes he acts like a pup. Sometimes he's barking at the wall, and that's Hattie to a T. Some days it's like she's absolutely fine, and that's probably when her arthritis is lower, so it's really well managed. But then when she has a flare up, she's just, or if it's stormy, or if whatever the other things in Hattie's brain happen, she finds life really challenging. It's interesting. Super interesting. Right, we did have a question that we need to answer that we promised we'd do.
Yeah, we do.
Let me. Oh, Stevie Nicks.
You see, she's really mixing things up a bit here.
Well, it's her job at the moment, isn't she? Just to be the cat amongst the pigeons. So Bernice asked in the group about her rescue lurcher Lyra's body language when playing with dogs. This might be an interesting one for you to just listen into and prick your ears up, Katrina, given that your experience with Freya. After lots of hard work on reactivity, we're now in a position where Lyra 99% of the time makes good choices about other dogs, and we felt able to trust her and ourselves around other dogs. This morning, she had a wonderful high energy game with her pointer, which is her favourite breed of dog. It was a slightly larger male who loved her. The owner says he rarely plays that much. There were other dogs around at the same time, all familiar. However, I noticed that late on in the game, Lyra's hackles went up, although she was still playing. This tends to happen when she's playing with a larger, high energy dog. I take this body language to be a cue that Lyra is getting a bit overwhelmed. At that point, I tend to call her away from the game. I want to make sure she doesn't end up telling the other dog off, which I think could happen, and I don't want to fail. Do you think I'm reading the raised hackles right? What do you think, Dr. Barbara Patterson?
So first of all, I want to, I'm just trying to get this right. So she had a wonderful high energy game with a pointer that rarely plays and lots of energy going. So first of all, I think calling our dogs out of play with other dogs is a good thing,
Agree.
no matter what, right?
Agree.
It's a really, really good thing. And for you to be able to do that, Bernice, is amazing. So, you know, you should just give yourself a big power up
I
reward,
bet
whatever, for having achieved that, be
I
able
would
to,
bet quite a lot of money that people watching this, wherever you are, wherever we are thinking, oh, wish I could do that with my dog.
yeah, it's really, really
Absolutely,
hard. I
it's
mean,
brilliant.
really working on this with Stevie, right? She's 6 months now, and calling her away from play with Falcon should be easy peasy by now because it is something that's important to me, but it's still work in progress because I let them play a bit too much. There is such a thing as too much play with other dogs. So, okay, so that's the first one. I really love that you do that. And here's the thing. Hackles, I think it's correct to say, Julia, that hackles up could be interpreted as one of the things that happen sort of on that aggression ladder, and people are a little bit like, "Ah, hackles up," right?
Yeah.
So there might, but hackles up are just hackles up. Dogs say, "Ooh, I feel the need to make myself look bigger." So there is definitely an emotion underlying that the dog could be feeling uncomfortable, stressed, yeah, something like that. So that is really good again, also on your side to see your dog might not be super comfortable anymore. And
Particularly,
then,
that particular dog was a large dog, wasn't it? It was a large
yeah,
monster. So
yeah,
she might be
yeah.
thinking, hang on, this game isn't going quite the way I planned.
Well, or maybe just because it went on for a while. I mean, um you've probably heard Julia talk about the bucket, or me about the candle, whatever. The bucket is a great analogy because you can always just say the bucket's full, and it happens during play as well. You watch the dogs go and go and go, and they get more and more and more and more and more excited, and suddenly things get a little bit too intense. So it's a good thing to stop it
Mm.
before somebody gets hurt. It's akin to our parents saying, stop it now before somebody starts to, there will be tears soon or something, when play gets too wild. It's a similar thing. So it's really cool. What also stood out though for me was that you don't want to fail. Now, one dog telling another dog off, "I've had enough now," is not a bad thing. I do notice in Falcon, for example, he rarely does that. And in some people's eyes, that might make him a really good boy, right? But it also means that he is Stevie's favorite playmate. Stevie being a puppy or a 6-month-old, her play is quite intense and there's no end. She can go on and on and on. And because Falky's not the kind of dog that tells her off, they'll play and play until he actually has had enough, but he doesn't really know how to show it. And then the play gets too intense, right? And I have to interrupt it. And then sometimes he does by, like, oh, a little bit more than usual, but she doesn't take it any serious. Whereas now I will very quickly say, stop it. He's more sort of the authoritative type. If you think of your teachers, the ones that had to really shout and the ones that just glanced at you and you would like, okay, I'm not dancing out of line kind of thing. So dogs' personalities come out there too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the long story short, I don't think there is a fail here, but I would also not want an argument between my dog and another dog that I don't really know, because we don't know how that dog will then react when she barks at him. So long story short, I think you're interpreting 100% correctly, and I think you're
Mm.
doing Rather call them away too early than too late.
Definitely.
Totally on it there.
Yeah. I have something similar actually with Dashi when he plays, and particularly with dogs that have quite an excitable play style. And what he will do, his hackles do go up a little bit actually. But the other thing is his body tension changes. He goes a little bit more tense and he stands up taller. And again, it's another way of trying to make myself look bigger. And if I don't intervene and take him away, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the next step is he tries to hump the other dog.
And most of the dogs don't like that, right?
And they don't like it, and that can end in tears. So if I start seeing that change in body language, it's like, no, actually, you've had enough now. You can't, you're like you said in he's becoming overwhelmed. It's all a little bit much, and we
And
need to stop now.
the thing is, like you said, knowing what happens before that thing that is potentially will potentially cause a problem. Raised hackles don't cause a problem in the other dog yet, right? But you might be able to see signs even before the hackles go up
Yeah.
if you
So
keep watching.
it's a really good point, actually, because when the hackles go up, for some dogs, that
They
then
could,
it could be a trigger to them. So,
yeah. So,
intervening is definitely the thing.
but that is not to put now the fear of hackles into you, Bernice, because I
No.
think, hackles on the whole, that's not a bad thing. But it's always a cool thing when we notice a behavior or a body change, because hackles, actually, the dog is not actually in control of that. No, that just happens. So, but there might be other things that you can notice, even before that, that that her bucket starts to get full, that she's starting to get overwhelmed and not enjoying the play as much as,
Yeah.
a minute before. So that is just a, you know, friendly competition with ourselves, what else can I see? What else can I see? And maybe video her play. And then you can go back and watch it in slow-mo.
That's a great idea. That would be nice, yeah. And you can start looking for the little tiny things that happen just before, like Shawnee just said, the thing before the thing.
Mm.
Katrina's in agreement. She'd do the same and intervene. So yeah, absolutely. Um,
Actually, I should do that. I should video Falky and Stevie too. And I also noticed when Noah and Falcon started to interact again, after all that hectic management, um, and I took them, for a walk, and then those would be the first times that they were loose with each other, and they would play, and the play was like super intense.
yeah.
I think there was a lot of who's seen Grease, the movie Grease,
Oh yes.
with John
I used
Travolta.
to
Give
love
us
that when I
an
was in my
ice cream. Put
teens.
an ice cream in if you've seen it.
I had the old vinyl record, double LP it was, of the Grease soundtrack that I would sing along to with my hairbrush.
Okay, dokes, Shawnee. Thanks very much. Anyway, in that movie Grease, there is that scene with all the guys, they're happy to see each other and like excited and whatever, but they can't just go and yeah, Katri, here come the ice creams. Excellent.
Yeah.
And they go and they push each other and there's some posturing and they're like pushing it. They can't just hug each other and say to each other, I'm really
Right.
glad to see you. Right? And that's what I'm reminded of, or was reminded of. And those two boys were like, when they were playing with each other because of the mixed emotions and a lot of sort of intensity that was there. I mean, look, again, this is just for humor. This is not Barbara says dogs behave like the guys in Greece. Macho nonsense, says LJ. Yeah,
Yes,
in a way. But
exactly.
but also because they haven't learned to interact like that,
Yeah.
because it's not how they were brought up. And I think these guys, the dogs were a bit sort of like, ooh, can't remember. because their interaction used to be very gentle and playful.
Yeah.
And now there was a lot of pent up, I don't know.
And Teresa just said it's the same as to the hair raising on the back of our necks, maybe.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. And goosebumps as well. It's the same involuntary response that they
Yeah.
get. And you,
Ooh, I like Kirsten's ice cream cone.
I
It's
know.
very-
I was just looking at that and thinking, I am wondering what flavor.
Everybody's eating strawberry ice cream
Yes.
except for Kirsten.
So Kirsten's got pistachio, banana, and raspberry, I think.
Okay, I'm running away. That's banana ice cream.
Oh dear, you're funny. Right.
Right.
Hang on a minute. Just got a quick question from Lisa, or a quick comment. Taking reactive classes with an incredibly supportive and knowledgeable trainer, managing the environment, knowing your dog's body language, giving him time to process events to prevent trigger stacking, and being an advocate for your dog's mental and physical health
totally.
has helped me tremendously with my guys. 100%. 100%. Ah, snow cone. Is that a thing in the US? Is that a particular sort of ice cream that I don't know about and I need to
I don't
find
know what a
out?
snow cone is. No.
Shawnee wants an ice cream now. I don't because it's literally so cold.
I want an ice cream too, and I think I might have one in my freezer. Little
I
Mac.
want a big hot chocolate with marshmallows. That's
Yeah,
what
you see, I don't get that. Why would one spoil a perfectly good hot chocolate with marshmallows?
See, I think you get best of both worlds. Brilliant.
But a marshmallow is not anything good in any world.
Really?
Yeah.
Ice cream with a hot chocolate. Louise
Well, that
wants
sounds
one now.
better.
I know.
The only thing with the marshmallow thing, the only thing that I really enjoyed is something I learned when I was in Canada. What did they call them now? You know, those things that you do by the fireside when you put the thing between two.
Sorry, I've just looked up snow cone and it's what we have as a slushy,
Ah,
but in a cone. Oh no, this is unlike slushies with made with crushed ice and are icier. Ah, they look good.
s'mores, exactly, Shawnee, s'mores. S'mores are good. That's the only marshmallow I can.
That's acceptable. I love I
Just all the different spellings of s'mores. Great.
I like
Great.
a marshmallow, but it has to have something hot, so either toasted on a fire or in hot chocolate.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
It's acceptable.
Okie dokie.
We're making
Right.
each other
I
super
think we
hungry.
digressing big time now into Greece, into movies, s'mores, ice creams. Might be time to call it a day, hey?
Yeah, possibly. Lovely to see everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. You
Yeah,
guys rock.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And all
And
your fabulous posts.
next week we are looking all about dogs and their social side and
More play.
the dog.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that'd be really cool.
Goody,
We
goody,
will
goody.
see you then, and we'll see you in the group in the meantime. Take care.
Some more. I didn't know that. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, cheers, guys.
See you, everybody.